All right, you are tuned in to Rap and Reason podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Jeremy McCool,
And I'm Earl Hopkins.
and this is episode 1 of the podcast, man.
This is crazy. This has been something we've been kind of mulling over for like some time now. To see it finally come to fruition, bro, is like insane to see.
100%. This is one of those things that it's like you keep putting it off further and further. You're like, I want to get a podcast. I want to start a podcast. And we knew it was going to be about music, but we finally got it done, man. So we getting into it. We'll introduce ourselves to the audience for people who listening to it who do not know us as of now. My name is Dr. Jeremy McCool. I'll just be going by Jeremy on this podcast.
Okay.
Because that's just extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm a professor, so that's my main gig. I teach in media studies, so I teach a hip hop course. I also teach media tech courses. I teach a podcasting course, ironically. So a bunch of different courses on that front. Earl, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a full-time journalist. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I work for the Philadelphia Inquirer, covering arts, culture, and entertainment for the paper here and around the South Jersey region. And then in addition to that, I'm a writer for Grammy.com as a freelancer, covering album reviews, music drops, stuff like that, as well as Complex, Billboard publications along that ilk, I should say. So, yeah, it's been a journey, man. But, again, we're here.
Yes, sir. Earl is big time out here, man.
Nah.
He Hollywood.
never that, bro. Never.
Nah,
You know
man.
what I mean?
But no, and also another thing we got to add, just for context of why we really decided to do a hip-hop podcast specifically. Of course, we're both hip-hop fans. Earl has written about hip-hop for years. I've written about hip-hop for years as a scholar. I also do a lot of lectures on hip-hop and teach on hip-hop. It was only right for us to do this because we're also working on a book about hip-hop as we speak. So, Earl, you want to talk a little bit about the book?
Yeah, this whole thing is a process, bro. Like, so basically we came to, like, when me and Jeremy met, we talked about, like, our love of Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and how they kind of coincided. Like, they, too, are figures of what we deem socially conscious rap within the mainstream. And so within a couple months, it took a little bit of time, but we finally, like, thought about the book, put a proposal out there, and we actually signed a book deal with Roman and Littlefield, which is, an imprint of Bloomsbury Publishing.
Absolutely.
So it was crazy how that joint came together, bro.
It really came together pretty quick, too. So,
it did.
Yeah, so this is going to be a staple in conscious rap for the modern generation, and, yeah, we're looking forward to writing that. So you all will be a part of that journey. You all will get some updates on what that looks like moving forward. And, yeah, we'll get into it. So for this podcast specifically, Rap and Reason, we're going to do a lot of different music reviews, and this is including both modern and past music, and specifically hip-hop. So we'll get into songs, albums, and, yeah, we'll give you our perspectives. Now, our perspectives aren't to say all be all, but they're the most important.
Stand on it, though.
I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it.
Yeah.
I mean, our opinions are valid. But, of course, music is subjective, so we know. So just because we don't like a song doesn't mean you won't like it. So this is not to discourage you from listening to it. We're just giving our takes.
For sure. Yeah. And, like, again, it's open dialogue. Like, that's what I like about this format. Obviously, the podcast is one thing, but with the direction we're going, it's open format, bro. Like, it's up for your own interpretation. However you consume or enjoy music is on you. But this is just from our view. You dig?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So let's get into it. So a couple songs have dropped recently.
Yes.
I feel like we have to lead with the video that has taken the world by storm. In the first day, I think what was it, at 20 million?
It was about 20 million. It definitely surpassed like 15 million, I think,
100%.
within 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, within 24 hours. So we have to talk about the Not Like Us music video by Kendrick Lamar. Okay, first impressions of it. What you think?
First impressions, I'm gonna be honest. So I was a little confused at first because I'm a big concept guy. You know what I'm saying? Not every music video needs a concept. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the song, but a song this massive that took, it got people crip walking in Ohio, bro. Like my home state. Like this is a different
walking
level.
in Ohio is crazy.
You know what I mean? Right. And then with it being Drake, like a Drake diss, we all know the feud. So like this is big. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, I want like a massive. I don't know really what to expect. I don't know what my expectations are, but I'll say once I got in within the first 2 minutes of it and I just saw the production level, crazy. And then, like, every element about it and how he's slightly taking jazz. We'll talk about it. But overall, like, yo, this joint the music video was crazy, bro.
I agree. It wasn't. I would say that it wasn't what I expected storyline wise when it first came on. In my mind, and maybe it's my level of petty and what I would have done probably in this situation is I expected there to be like a Drake lookalike in the video, who they pushing around through Compton or something. I don't know why I was expecting it to go there, but instead he really chose more of a cultural LA type of feel to it, and way more artsy as far as the different shots and angles than I was expecting. Which I don't know why. I mean, that's Kendrick, so I'm not that shocked by it, but definitely loved it. Our first watch, I played it back again. So
I watched that joint like 5 times that night. The night it dropped.
It dropped.
Legit. Because again, like what you're talking about, where they have a lookalike like Drake, like that brings me back to like when I watched Eazy-E's diss to Dr. Dre, like real mother effing G's, and I'm like, bro, they got a lookalike or whatever it was, or whether it was Dre Day or what have you. So I'm like, bro, I see where the beef can kind of go on the visual side. 100%. So I'm thinking, okay, it can go that. But then when you actually watch the video, you're like, hold on, he's throwing jabs.
Shots. He's definitely throwing shots. And even like Hit 'Em Up is another one. Like they had the Biggie lookalike in the video. So I was definitely expecting that route. But I agree, there's definitely subliminals. And I think Kendrick did that on purpose because as the video ages, it will just be its own staple. It won't be like a video about Drake. You know what I mean? It's like, he takes little shots with the owl and the different figures in it. But it's not like the video is more LA than it is about Drake, which I think is good. I think it's gonna make it age better.
Yeah, because do you feel like there's certain music videos, certain diss records, like that because they didn't have that big of a scope, right? Like they didn't look at it as, we don't want to like potentially like throw too many like of the moment type moments in there because it will age out. Like does a diss record come to mind?
No, I think this is different. I think this diss record is different than most I've heard, just because of it's so. Even if you don't know about the feud, it's just a fire song.
It's a fire
song. Like it's not. Yeah, it blew up as big as it did because of that. But I honestly, truly believe that even if this wasn't a diss song, it still would have been a hit.
If you take out any of the Drake mentions, bro, it's still fire because a mustard beat is a mustard beat.
A mustard beat with Kendrick on it is crazy, no matter how you slice it. So I think that this is different than any other ones I've heard. Now, there's been other like diss songs that I played in the club. Of course, you got Drake back to back that they used to play in the club.
Right.
You had Young Dolph play with
100
Shots and 100 Shots. Both of them really played it. I've heard outside and in different settings. So like there are definitely diss songs that do it, but this one just feels different.
It feels different. It does. It brought a coast together, but now it's bringing the country in some, people, little kids, like across the country are singing A minor,
and even going into the video, that was one of the shots that I noticed that I was like, it's crazy. Like, having him hopscotch, having the camera pan out and him hopscotching to A minor, nasty work.
No OV hose or whatever damage in this video with the owl pinata joint.
Even the owl shot at the end I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
Like it being caged, and of course for anybody who doesn't know, the owl being Drake's logo, essentially. Like little things in there that he put in there. Even my favorite scene in there is the family one. Like the black and white portrait type shot of him and his family, and then it's switching to them just dancing in the living room. And the first thing I thought when watching that, I said, "This is not Kendrick Lamar's living room."
No, it can't be.
They definitely rented out a humble abode because I was like, "This is not Kendrick Lamar's."
It almost looked like the home that was on the cover of his album. What is it, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? It almost was reminiscent.
You know what?
Of that
it might
home.
Be this. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Like it might be, and his family was on that cover as well. So it's like, okay, it kind of like brings certain things full circle, and we could point to a number of things Drake kind of missed the mark on when in the midst of this feud. One of it being the family arc. Like I didn't understand it, especially with us now seeing that music video kind of like squash that even more.
I think it makes diss songs not age well.
Exactly.
I think every relationship, marriage, all of those have problems, of course. But like for you to throw out like blatant stuff like y'all aren't even together no more, this makes a lot of that song not hit as hard. And mind you, when I first heard Family Matters, I thought the song was fire.
Oh yeah, no, I loved it.
His rapping was like, I was impressed like to hear Drake rap that well, especially like the little middle section where he shot at everybody.
Right.
I was like, okay, this is hard. But like now, Kendrick has made it where it's like superpowers neutralized. He did say that in the song, but it's kind of like he debunked a lot of the stuff, so it doesn't really hit the same.
It doesn't. And I honestly haven't gone back to any of the Drake disses. Every single one I go back to, we're writing a book on Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, so obviously we have an affinity for both artists, right?
Correct.
But I don't even go back to Family Matters, and I think Family Matters is maybe the second, third best song in the whole Kendrick Drake saga.
I would agree. I would say for me, I would say third. I would say for me it's between Not Like Us and Euphoria. I actually love both of those
I love
songs.
Euphoria.
Then I would say third is Family Matters. For sure. Meet the Grams is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like one of those, like, it's crazy when you hear it, but just like you don't really want to hear it again.
I don't want to hear it.
It's just like, ooh, this is dark.
It cuts too deep for me. Nah. I'm not listening to that again. But again,
I never went back.
This music video sealed the deal in a lot of ways for me, bro. Number one, because one of the things that I took away from it is Kendrick is culture, Drake is pop. You know what I'm saying? And once you garner culture, bro, there's really no canceling you. There's no stripping you away from people's admiration, bro. Like, he has it on lock, and this video was just a prime example of that.
100%. And the only other thing I want to touch on with the video, the snippet at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Hard. Yeah. What, like, do you think, it makes me think, is Kendrick going to choose more of a traditional West Coast sound on this new album? Because if so, I think he should.
I think so. Because
it like that snippet, because it was still conscious. Like, even if you listen to the snippet, like, he's talking about owning his intellectual property. Like, like it's still that, but it's over West Coast beats, and I think we haven't really heard a full album of that from Kendrick. Right. Probably Good Kid, Mad City being the closest. But not like this West Coast.
Exactly.
Like modern West Coast.
And we see what power comes with hopping on a mustard beat and channeling that West Coast. Like, he's talking unity. He's been talking about that a lot.
Yes.
Like, with his performance at the Forum, like for Juneteenth, to, the music video where he has the whole hood out. You know what I mean? Like, and all the LA gangs and stuff. So I think, like, with that, I think he's trying to capture that West Coast. Because when we think West Coast hip hop, like, a lot of people think about that G-Funk era or that
100%.
or the mustard beat.
Yeah, you're either thinking of Snoop and Dre or in Pac, or you're thinking of the Mustard era.
Exactly.
100%.
Or the Game, like when he took over the coast.
Yeah, but the Game was kind of he had to hold it down by himself for a minute.
That, you know what I mean?
And then and then after that you kind of I would say you think of like Problem, Nipsey, YG, that era. Yeah. And a lot of them was Mustard produced. So
I think Kendrick's trying to like capture all those things in this new project. I think he's gonna go full West Coast beast on this joint.
I think he should. I think he should. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get that album ASAP. I think we're gonna get it before the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think it's good timing for Kendrick because, again, like with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, he revealed and shed so much of himself, his family, his experience, his traumas, his triumphs. Like, so to go to this, and we know it's gonna still be conscious driven because that's in his DNA.
I don't think Kendrick cannot be conscious in music. I don't even think so. Like, even when I hear him try to like not, there's still a message in it. It's still like. There's still an underlying message within the song. Even on the songs that people would imagine are like, oh, this is like a gangster rap song. It's still like when you actually sit back and listen to it, there's still like a deeper message about the dangers of whatever the behavior is. And I've noticed that with all of Kendrick's songs, and I think that it's impactful. I don't even think he could make a non-conscious album if he wanted to.
I don't think so.
I don't even think it's possible.
And speaking of people whose albums I really want to see a new Chance the Rapper album. He dropped a song called Stars Out. So what's your thoughts on the new track?
So first of all, I have to say that not take away Chicago bias.
Towards
Chance.
Born and raised in Chicago.
Born and raised Chicago. I definitely have a affinity for Chance. I've seen firsthand the great work that he's doing in Chicago, in the community, with the youth out in Chicago. Like, I've seen a lot of the great work that he's been doing. So salute him for that off top.
For sure.
But the Stars Out song, hard. Like, his last two releases that he's put out in the last couple of months have both been fire. And the only critique I really have, Stars Out, he's rapping again, which I think that is different. I think that he's going back into let me really get back into being respected as a lyricist.
100%.
Which I think he kind of fell away from it with putting a little bit more of the gospel stuff in there. And I think he kind of was taking more risks musically. So he kind of went away from the like really rapidy rap type stuff, but I think that he's getting back into it. And Stars Out is fire. The only critique I have is that it wasn't long enough.
I know, like, what's with these snippets of songs?
I think this song is under 2 minutes, and that is just like I get it with streaming. A lot of songs are now shorter so that people can stream them more than once, and for the number purposes, and then also attention spans. But we got to get more than 2 minutes.
We got to. We need more from Chance.
I need at least 3 minutes.
You know,
at least 3 minutes.
And I would say, like, for me, this is the Chance I've always wanted. Like, he showed elements of it. Obviously, I haven't seen him rap like this. Like, I know it's just singles, but like for a full body of work, honestly, since 10 Day, like I haven't seen him because we can go back to acid rap. He's rapping, but it's psychedelic rap, kind of.
Yeah, I would say acid rap, but I would say this is more focused than acid rap is.
Yeah,
so that's why I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I would even say Coloring Book. He had some songs where he was really rapping on it, but I think that this is definitely different. I would say he's different. He's definitely trying to show off more of his lyrical capabilities.
It's more bare bones. It's not because I don't think he was ever gimmicky. I don't want that to ever come, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think he was leaning towards, like, especially
it was hippie stuff. The acid rap was hippie.
For sure. And I think with Wedding Day or the Big Day, I think that was like, he was kind of, it was a concept album, which I always appreciate. I appreciate people leaning into something wholeheartedly, but it just didn't land musically, conceptually. Like, so it's good to see. And that album dropped many years ago.
And I think it didn't land for me as much because now that I've went back to it, I think it got a worse rep than it deserved. Like when I went back to it and listened to it in a different headspace and growing older, I was still in them streets when the album came out. So I wasn't really trying to hear about no happy marriages.
I ain't trying to hear no proposals, wedding days,
and how much you love your wife. That wasn't the space I was in when that album dropped. But now that I'm a little older and more mature, going back and listening to it, I was like, I see what he was doing here, and there's definitely some good songs on it. But this sounds like a different Chance the Rapper. And even the first song, I cannot think of the name of it right now. I want to say it's Family something, but the first song that he released a couple months ago, even that song, like him talking about the importance of the family owning the home. I think it's produced by DJ Premier, if I'm not mistaken.
Premier beat, yep.
Yeah. But even that track, like it sounds almost, it's reminiscent of like Oh Yay.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Oh Yay. Like I think that he's going in a great direction musically. So I'm looking forward to hearing what this new album sounds like.
Yeah, because it's been 5 years, bro.
It's been 5 years?
It's been 5 years.
Oh, I definitely wasn't in the space to hear that Happy Marriage music.
Years ago, bro.
5 years?
No.
I wasn't in that space 5 years
I was fresh
ago.
out of college, but I still had that college. No.
Yeah, I was pretty much fresh. I was fresh out of grad school. I just finished my master's.
Yeah, that was like the Menace arc. Like that was around the time for probably both of us. Crazy. Menacing times.
Those are. Yes. Yeah. I was in San Diego. I think I was living in San Diego at that time too.
In Southern Cal, bro.
Southern California.
Yeah,
so you see what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to hear about this man and his happy marriage. But no, shout out to Chance the Rapper. We're looking forward to covering your new album here on Rap and Reason. Yeah. So looking forward to that dropping. What we had next on the agenda?
Yeah, so JT and Jeezy. So the OK remix, like, I'm not gonna lie, say what you want, dog. JT spazzed on I've Always Been a City Girls fan from afar, but with this JT record, bro, I was able to like dive in. Like me and my girl, we in the kitchen saying, yeah, I'm pretty then. Well, she's saying it, but I'm just egging her.
No.
See, I shouldn't have said we.
No, don't you cover it up now.
Babby energy through and through on this joint. But, bro, having them together, I didn't even realize it was a sample until Jeezy honestly hopped on because, like, whoever produced, I don't even know, credit to them because they blended it in so well. It melded together with JT's energy. Like, Miami girls, bro, they just have this certain, I don't know what it is about them, but they just got that certain vibe, swag to them.
And let me say this. I am on the opposite side of Earl. I am not a city girl fan.
You're not a city girl
fan. And I'm not going to make it seem like I am. I've never liked their music. So, never.
That's crazy.
It never resonated. Like, if I hear it out and about, then it's like, oh, okay, it's cool. I'm not mad at it, but it's like, I never was like, this is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I will say, my girl played that song for me. The original, not the remix.
Yeah.
The original, and I was like, all right, I get this
crazy.
See, there's certain ones that my girl will play for me, and I'm like, I'm going to give you this one. Glorilla has a lot of them. I'm like, I'll give you this one.
Glorilla's a beast.
This is hard.
Yeah.
And I felt that way about this song. I just thought it was a catchy hook. Really I like the beat. I like the production. So Jeezy, I didn't expect on this song.
I didn't expect Jeezy on this either. That was random.
Very, because two different generations of rap.
Yes.
Jeezy got to be, I don't want to put an age on Jeezy and be wrong, but
I want to say early 40s.
He got to be in his 40s.
Yeah, he got to be.
Because Jeezy came out when I was in middle school, maybe. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for wearing a snowman shirt. That's why I remember. I remember. Once the teachers found out what Trap or Die meant. It was
Yo, he had people wearing snowman like joints. I remember that now.
Yeah.
And I was in, bro.
I had you a few years younger than me, so you were.
Bro, I was in kindergarten when Thug Motivation 101 came out.
Kindergarten?
Literally. Because that's on Survivor. Yeah, that's when Survivor came out with Akon. That was 2004. I was in kindergarten, bro. Or first grade. One of the two.
That's
legitimately,
crazy.
Bro. Yeah.
So that means when that
you were younger then.
Yeah, that means that must have been probably fourth grade.
Fourth grade, fifth grade, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
then he was like getting his real stride when I was in middle school.
But I like the fact that he's saying that on the record too. Like he's coming out, it's a sample of Trap or Die, whatever, and he's saying like, "Yo, I've been in the game for a minute, but I'm still present, bro. I'm still relevant.
I'm still around." And a lot of people didn't listen to it. Some people didn't listen to it. I thought Jeezy's last album was fire because it was a mature Jeezy
for sure,
who was like talking about more like adult things and talking about I used to do this, but this is what my life looks like now. I'm happy. I got businesses, and it was a more mature version of Jeezy. And I've always leaned towards Jeezy's music just because I always liked it because it just felt like hustle music.
Exactly.
It felt like I got to go out and make some things happen. Like. That's what that music always sounded like to me. So I've always liked Jeezy's music, but I think that mature Jeezy is I like. I think that Jeezy's was in a pocket on this song specifically.
And I just love seeing our old heads, quote unquote, like more seasoned artists, like having that type of transition in evolution though. Because the same goes with Jay-Z's 444 or like 100%. Or Nas's like latest run, bro. It's good seeing our legends kind of like sustain in the culture and within music. Because we always look at them as legacy acts at this point, but I just saw Nas perform, bro. Like he's measuring up to any other person on a given 100%. Festival bill or whatever the case, bro. Like,
but it's hard.
Seeing that.
But Nas started off more mature than his age. So,
yeah, that's true though.
So that's why it's like
nobody believed he was 19 with Illmatic, bro, or 20.
Like the stuff he was talking about on Illmatic, the introspective way he was even talking about the streets on Illmatic was completely beyond his years. For like nobody would imagine a teenager to talk about what they were seeing in their neighborhoods the way that Nas did. So like Nas was already miles ahead of like his peers. So I only expected him to get better. So it's definitely dope. And that's one thing, and we're gonna get into the Lil Wayne album. Now I want to say Lil Wayne, if his content has matured, Lil Wayne would be in my top 5.
You don't feel like he's matured musically?
Musically, like, no. Content. I'm talking about as far as the content, substance. I think he's kind of rapping still about the same stuff. He's rapping well, which is why I say, like, and better than almost everybody. Bro. Lil Wayne is one of the best lyricists. Like, I was outside. Well, I wasn't outside. I was in middle school, but I was outside a little bit. During that mixtape run. And when I believe, and I say this, I stand 10 toes down. Lil Wayne is the greatest mixtape artist of all time, to me.
I don't think anybody's refuting that, bro. They can't.
I did the greatest mixtape rapper ever.
The only other person that comes to mind, and he's not close, is Fab.
Fab is the
He's amazing.
If somebody argued with me, Fab, I would understand why. Because the soul tapes are crazy.
Yeah.
But Lil Wayne, the amount of rapping he was doing, bro. Like he was rapping the whole album straight, no hooks. His mixtape between the droughts, the dedications, the no ceilings, like it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So but I think that I always wanted his substance to like increase as he like moved his way up as a rapper, like how Jay-Z's did, like how Nas's did, where it was like, okay, I'm talking more from like the perspective of an like OG within the game, but at the same time he's still rapping at a higher level than almost everybody. So he's able to do that. And
that's the one evolution I say he did make. Is just like, bro, he's almost gotten better with time. Like when it comes 100%. To rapping, like I don't.
100%.
Oh my god.
And even I want to even add in here that Lil Wayne has shown like hints of being conscious in his music. Like forget what he said in interviews, but like from the song Georgia Bush to Tie My Hands to like there are deep to even Hustler's music. Hustler music on Carter 2. Like there's introspective Wayne songs.
For sure.
So I don't want to make it seem like all his music is just whatever, but I just haven't necessarily seen it like his lyrical substance. Like he's not talking about stuff differently now than I feel like he was talking about it on the Carter 1 or Carter 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And since we on that note too, like, so we're reviewing, it's 20 years now.
20
It
years.
just hit its 20-year mark literally last month. Like, what's your thoughts on the Carter as we take a retrospective, review on the project?
Yes, 20 years. I think, man, the Carter, going back to it, because it had been a while since I listened to the Carter straight through.
Yeah.
The Carter, out of the Carter series, the Carter 2 is my favorite one.
Easily mine.
Yeah.
Easily mine.
The Carter 2, I think, a lot of people say Carter 3 just because how much it sold and how big the impact was. I get it. But Carter 2 was just, like, great. Like I said, from Hustler's music to Fireman and, like, all, like it just, it was, like, prime, like, Wayne album.
For sure.
For me. But the Carter, I also, like, going back and listening to it, man, there are some songs I love on the Carter.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I went back and was like, man, I forgot how many songs on here I really, really liked. And how high of a level Wayne was rapping at on this album.
Even at that point.
Like, crazy. I don't know what age he was at on this when
He
this
was like
dropped.
21.
21? Oh,
21, 22.
and out rapping, yes. Yeah,
Bro.
rapping on this album.
Rapping. He was seasoned by this point too, so you can hear it. It's reflective in the actual like music at this point. Like even when, because we know how he's evolved as he went through the Carter series and like the mixtape Wayne era. Like we saw how he kind of like eclipsed even at this point. But
100%.
like for the moment, bro, like some of these songs, it just took me back to, not taking me back because I didn't grow up in Louisiana, but I just envisioned like maybe Freaknik or something, or like
he paints the
Freaknik, like,
pictures.
he paints the picture. Like I could see people kicking it in Baton Rouge, like going crazy to this.
And,
You know what I
most
mean?
of it is produced by Manny Fresh. I know there's some Jazzy Faye production on here too, but a lot of it is produced by Manny Fresh too.
Bruh,
and I got to
different.
shout out to him because like you hear him in all
You
of it.
hear him, yeah.
Like this is almost like a Lil Wayne and Manny Fresh album.
On me, yeah.
And one thing that I want to note in this album that I didn't notice listening to it at first that I thought was fire, just for a concept for an album, I like that the intro and the outro had the same beat. I don't know if you noticed that,
Yeah.
but it's the walk in and the walk out. I don't know why I never noticed that when
Yeah.
listening to this album, but I didn't realize that it's like a song and then it's continued on the outro. It's
Yeah.
fire. Like I was like,
That's
man,
fire, bro.
I don't know if there's other albums that do that. Make sure y'all tweet us, Instagram us if y'all know of other albums that do that. But I can't think of another album off the top of my head that does that.
I can only think of one off top, and it's one of Jay-Z's, what is it? Life and Times.
Life and Times.
The third one.
Yeah, okay.
Which I feel like that's one of his more underrated joints.
It
That
really
and
is.
American Gangster, but
Yo, American
yeah.
Gangster.
Joint is
oh
fire.
my God. I think American Gangster is definitely in my top 5 Jay-Z albums. And that's
Easily.
saying a lot because Jay-Z has a lot
he
of
got a
albums.
lot of classics, bro.
But the American Gangster is a great album. Like he is rapping different on
bro.
American Gangster. And I think that album doesn't get the credit it deserves.
Not at
So.
all, never.
But yeah, as far as the Carter, I thought that was fire on the Carter. I like the intro. I like the outro. I like the Carter actually has the first Lil Wayne song I heard outside of Back That Thing Up.
Back That Thing Up.
Because
yeah.
Back That Thing Up is like, he's on the end of it, just wobbity wobbity wop. But actually rapping, my first time hearing Lil Wayne was actually Go DJ.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, like watching the Go DJ video on BET, like actually seeing it, and that was like my introduction to Wayne was Go DJ, which I think is like just a classic.
Classic, bro.
Classic.
Oh, it's one of my favorite joints. It takes me back to them elementary school days, bro, where I'm watching 106 in Park after school, like while I'm neglecting this homework, like 100%, bro. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie to you though. Like for the most part, I would say the album is solid through and through. There's like with any album, you can point out certain moments you like, yo, you should have scratched it. This is where like albums were still an hour, 20 minutes plus long. Like we don't really have that as frequently anymore. I feel like people are giving us more bite-sized content now where you'll have a full-length album at like, you know what I mean? Like 35, 48 minutes or whatever. But I would say like songs like Hoes, like I could just do without. But for the most part, this album is straight.
It's fire.
Yeah.
I overall, I think it's a solid album. I think the only there's a couple songs I wanted to point out. Oh, okay, I know one. One I want to point out is one of my favorite songs on this album is "Miss My Dogs."
Miss My Dogs.
Any song that is a go-to of mine when I'm going through something,
Yeah.
I have to always put some extra emphasis on it. Like Miss My Dogs is one of those songs that you put on when, like, there aren't too many, like, I Miss My Homie songs.
Right.
You know, there's a few, but there aren't a lot of them. And I feel like Miss My Dogs is, like, one that embodies that, whether it's, like, a friend who you just lost touch with, whether it's a friend who died, unfortunately, or is in prison, whatever the case may be that made you all disconnect. I think that Miss My Dogs is, like, it embodies that so perfectly. And you can really hear the pain in Lil Wayne's voice over the song, which is something I always emphasize, too, is, like, the performance, when you can actually hear the pain in people's voice, is just different.
It's different. And again, like, some of the highlights for me is just the party records, bro. Like, I can just envision if I could transport myself back to early 2004, bro, listening to Earthquake with Jazzy Jeff, or not Jazzy Jeff, Jazzy Faye.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm just envisioning, like, all the, you know what I'm saying, twerking going on, all that joint, bro.
Movie
moments. You feel me? So, yeah, I love this album, bro. It's for me, if I'm ranking it, like, it's my among the Carter series, probably third. Yeah, I would put Carter 2, like we said, at first. I'm putting Carter 3 at second, and then I'm gonna put the Carter at number 3. Everything else can kind of fall, because I might even put the Carter 4 at bottom for me, and then put the Carter 5 above that one. Like, that might really be how I'm moving.
I'm not mad at that perspective.
Yeah,
I think the Carter, for me, it goes Carter 2. Out of the Carters, it's Carter 2. Then I think I'm going to go Carter 2, Carter 3, Carter 1, Carter 4. That's the same way you had it?
Yeah. I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2, 3, 1, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put Carter 4 last. Carter 4 does have some stuff on there.
It got some stuff. It got some joints.
I believe John is on Carter 4, which is one of the hardest beats on the planet. I think that has She Will.
She Will on it, yeah.
Which is crazy. I definitely. But the Carter classic album, I think this really stamped Wayne for what he was in hip hop and what he would become. I think this was the first one that was like, oh, Wayne is a problem as a solo artist. Like,
for sure.
This isn't his first solo album, but it's like, it's the staple.
It's a staple. And I feel like it was like the precipice. Like, it really kind of sparked him to have that moment on the Carter 2, which again is our top Carter album. Like, it was almost like he took that step, but that was what he needed to get to that point. You 100%. Feel me? And from there, he was off and running.
He was
off and running.
And I just got to salute to you for using that vocabulary with precipice.
Yeah, I've never used
You're
that word
before.
You're
a journalist, bro.
Yeah. I ain't never used that word before, bro. But I use it today.
I
hope I used it right, people.
Bro, I think you did, though.
Yeah, well, sure.
I think you did, bro. Precipice is impressive.
Yeah.
Man, you vocab word of the day, bro. Gold stars. That's crazy.
Yo, listen.
Look, but no. Salute to Carter. 20 years in, and salute Lil Wayne, man. Like I said, and Wayne is still relatively young. Like, Wayne is only 41, so we still might get introspective Wayne again. Like,
we might.
And we might get an album of him really talking about all the stuff he's gone through, and I think he needs that 444.
I would want to see a 444.
I want to see that. I want to see Wayne's, like, introspective album where he's talking about how he's grown and the stuff he's gone through within the music industry and like that. I want to see that from Wayne.
I want to see it.
I hope
he got it in him. So yeah.
Yeah. He definitely has it.
Got it. And moving on too. So with this Vince Staples joint, so we got to take a look back at this because I feel like it's one of those albums that happened, but like kind of got lost in the sauce because there was a lot of other drops in the midst of that moment, a lot of other moments in the midst of his latest release, Dark Times.
For anybody releasing during all of this drama.
Brave Soul,
man. I really feel bad for anybody. Shout out to Big Sean.
Yeah.
Whose songs
dropped a single
that just nobody paid attention to because everybody was listening to
Kendrick and Joint Fire. What a shame.
Oh, man. Anybody who dropped during the last couple months, man, rough. I think they need to re-release the songs, to be honest.
I think so.
I think I feel like Big Sean needs to put back out Precision again.
Because that joint fire.
It's fire, but I think he got to drop it again.
Yeah, he might have to.
He might need to re-drop it. Like, all right, now that you're done, now that we're done with this, here's my stuff.
Do a reggaeton version, bro. We in the summer. We in the heat of the summer, bro. Let's do it. Like, whatever.
A reggaeton Precision is crazy.
But yeah. No, I like, listen, I've been a Vince fan for like maybe since summer of 06. Like that's kind of when I got put on to Vince Staples in full, and I've been locked in ever since, bro. He's one of those artists that can make a full body of work that really resonates with me, bro. I can't say that for everybody. Certain people are singles artists, certain people are artists of the moment or have a sound of the times, but he's able to traverse through a whole album and I'm stuck. Like he has my full attention. And even with the album like this, the name really reflects the music that's really was on the project, bro. This is a dark, grimy West Coast album.
Dark album, but dark and introspective. Like it's dark, and he's talking about like it's a more mature Vince Staples, I would even say. I think that there's a lot of gems he's putting in it. Mm-hmm. He's talking about a lot of serious issues within the music industry, within the streets, within gang culture, all of that. Like I think that this is one of his conscious stuff. Now I cannot say that I have listened to a lot of Vince Staples, but I have not necessarily listened to his projects in full.
Yeah.
So I'm like a casual Vince Staples fan. Like, loved his show on Netflix, by the way. I'm glad they got a new season. I don't know if have you watched Vince's show?
No, I haven't even watched it, bro.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, though.
It's almost like a West Coast Atlanta. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's really, really funny. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, he's always had songs I liked. I played Northside Long Beach. What's the name of that song?
Yeah, I think you.
I cannot think of the name of that song, but the chorus say Northside Long Beach. I played that song like I was from Northside Long Beach.
Bro, on me.
I played it to death. Like Vince has a lot of songs I love that I've always played, but I can't say that I've listened to the whole project. So me being able to this being my first time listening to his project from top to bottom, I was like, no, this is good.
What's like a standout song for you? I got a few.
I would say that one of the standouts for me personally, Radio definitely was a standout for me.
Joint.
I think Radio was fire. I think another standout for me was Lil Homies.
Yeah.
Lil Homies was I think impactful. Just the message behind it and saying like, basically like it's a trap for you to get caught into the streets. Like,
for sure.
And I think that him talking about it from different perspectives was like, I was like, okay, this is different. The only critique I really have of the album is like the production is his vocals seem low on some of the songs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you noticed that or was it just me and my audio brain, but when I was listening to it, there was some of the vocals that were just really, and I'm guessing it's intentional. Vince has been in the music industry for a while, so maybe it was intentional to put more emphasis on the actual music for certain sections. But other than that, no, those were definitely the standouts. Government Cheese was a standout too.
Government Cheese, Black and Blue for me is a standout.
Black and
Shame
Blue
on the Devil was a
Shame on the Devil was crazy.
You feel me? That's thick. That's deep.
Yeah, rich. All of it is very dark, but also like still, like I said, he's talking about a lot of serious issues. Yeah. This isn't just like a average gangster West Coast type album.
For sure, and that's the element I love about it is it's lean. It's only about 13 tracks, but it sticks to your bones, and that's what I love about Vince, and I've always loved about Vince. Is how he's able to like get certain messages out there, and you can still vibe to it. This is an album, even as dark as it is and introspective as it is, I'll still, turn up my speakers in the whip and still play this joint out like
100%.
In the summer sun. That's just like what Vince does, and he does it so well. He makes West Coast music that's palatable for like people throughout the country, throughout the world. Like he's able to do this joint, bro.
He's the only one. He's the only one that I was like, and I saw him tweet about it, but he was the one who I was like, he should have been at the pop out. Like he
should have been at the bro.
And he tweeted that he wasn't able to make it because I think he was on tour. But I thought because he tweeted joking like he said, if I knew Tommy the Clown was gonna be here, I would have been there. I've been waiting on my moment.
Come on,
now. It's hilarious. But I think that that Vince was like that West Coast piece that I thought was like missing.
Absolutely.
And I know that Tyler was there, so I know he's like an offshoot of our future kind of.
Yeah.
But I think Vince Staples is definitely meaningful to West Coast music. Like,
yeah.
Absolutely. So salute Vince Staples, a great project. 13 songs, 35 minutes.
35 minutes, lean.
And no, not a minute wasted.
Not a minute wasted, bro.
Not even really a song that I could say you could have just thrown this out. Like everything was like very meaningful. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so
and it coincided dummy well. Like all the tracks blend into one another like perfectly, bro. Like I don't really have any critiques on this album. I just know for like West Coast music, rap music fans, like this may not just be the album of the moment. It's the summer. Everybody listening to not like us. They playing that through the ground. Like they're gonna play that all summer. You know 100%. What I mean? But again, this is an album where I feel like it's underappreciated. And I think people maybe in the months to come, the years to come, they may look back on it like, hold on, like this was a moment. We should have took a time to focus in on this because this It's dope.
100%. North is the song I was thinking
North.
of.
Yeah.
Hard.
Classic.
I don't know why I
Classic
couldn't think of the
joint.
name of that song.
Yeah.
North, hard.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Suede, hard. He had a lot of songs that I really liked. So, man, Vince, shout out to Vince Staples, man. We looking forward to your next project. This was definitely one that you could tell he wanted to get off because, this is definitely, and it's dark. It fits the name. It's dark.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one of them ones. It's just another, like, dope Vince album, bro. And he has many of them. This is just another one added to the collection, bro.
And you got to put me on. I got to go back now and listen to his full projects because I've always just listened to songs from Vince. I never actually went
to the project, bro. I'm telling you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he has some of my, this is one of my favorite albums of the year type albums. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And you know what? I always have to say, and this is partially my fault, but I really didn't give the Odd Future Wave a chance.
Yeah. Why?
It was all too weird for me, man.
Bro.
I was in Chicago. I wasn't trying to, like, when I saw these guys come out and then it was on Cartoon Network on Adult Swim and doing pranks, and it just was too goofy for me at the time.
Bro.
And I was on my right. I want to hear conscious rap. And then the first Tyler Creator came out, he eating cockroaches in the video.
Yeah,
he
Yonkers video.
He dissing God. I'm just like, I'm not here for this. Like, so I know I probably missed a lot of good music in that era, just because at the time I wasn't really. I was like, nah, this seems too weird for me.
Yeah, nah.
So like, I got to go back and check some of that stuff out.
And Vince wasn't really. I wouldn't consider him Odd Future, but I think that West Coast. Like, that was a moment, bro. And at one point, like, because I was an A$AP Mob fan and an Odd Future fan at the same time, and they were kind of at odds for a little moment.
Really?
They were, bro, surprisingly. But I think, like, in time, A$AP Rocky and Tyler Creator are, like, best friends now. That was, like, a moment in time, and I think that they needed to step away and, like, all grow at once. And I feel like they had both, like, individually and musically, bro. Like,
I have to go back. Now I got to go back. I have students who tell me that all the time in my hip hop class. They're like, who are like huge Tyler the Creator fans. They're like, you don't listen to Tyler the Creator?
Tyler's amazing.
Why aren't there no Tyler the Creator in the class? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back and listen, y'all. I am going to revisit some of Tyler the Creator work because, like I said, it's not, some of it's just where you are
in the moment
in life.
It is
even just in life when music releases. It's like I wasn't in a place to be trying to hear.
Because we all have albums where we're like, bro, this joint is cheeks, and then it takes you years to, like, mature, and you're like, hold on, like, why didn't I absorb this album the way I should have at the moment? Like, this joint is fire. So we all go through that.
Yeah, we all. Sometimes, and then you double back to the album, and you like, wow, I didn't even know.
An album for me, bro, is Bryson Tiller's, what's that joint? It's his second album. His second album. The one that, like, didn't quite get, like, the acclaim of Trap Soul. It was, I
can't think of the
It's going to come to me, but that album, I was like, yo, this just isn't what I'm looking for. It almost seems like a regurgitated version of Trap Soul or like a B-side version of it. But when you actually go back to the album, we've all had this experience in some way or some fashion. I was like, bro, this joint's like got something there.
You know what album it was for me?
What?
And was J. Cole, For Your Eyes Only. When I first heard it, I wasn't in a place to listen to it because I just was like listening to more upbeat music at the time. Then when I went back and listened to it, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like the storytelling on it, like the stories he's telling on that album, insane. Like I would say go back to For Your Eyes Only.
Because I'll need to. Cause
you didn't like For Your Eyes Only.
Bro.
I didn't go back, but I'm telling you. I'm telling you, the first time I listened to it, because it's very calm, it's very melancholic.
It is.
So at the time, I just was like, nah, this isn't what I was expecting from Cole.
For sure.
Go back and listen to it. After knowing the backstory that this is an album that he wrote from the perspective of, I believe it was written in the perspective of one of his friends who had got killed.
Yeah.
And, like, go back and listen to it, like, just top to bottom with that in mind, and you're going to be like, oh, okay. I see what this is now. And there's certain songs on there that are going to hit different. Now, there's one song on there that was just complete trash that he should have thrown off, and that's Fold Clothes. Like, I don't know why that song exists.
Yo, listen.
Now, that song, I'm not vouching
that's
for.
What, like,
but the rest of the album, fire.
Yeah, that's what took me away. It took me out. There were moments on the album, you're taking me out of this experience. And also, when it comes to 2014 Forest Hill Drives, bro.
It's crazy.
Because it's here, and then, like, there's no fulfilling my expectations to that point. I can now say that. That was probably where my head was at, listening to For Your Eyes Only. But when I heard it, I'm listening to Fold Clothes. I want to fold some, like, bro, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So there were moments, but, yo, listen, retrospective reviews are important. Those are almost as important as in the moment reviews for me. Like I love
100%.
those because of that very reason.
Because like I said, sometimes you're just not in a place to consume that specific content. And when you return to it, it hits completely different than it did
100%.
before. There's even songs that I've heard that at the time I was like, this is trash. But then like I went back to and heard it again, and I was like, oh, I see what they were doing here. Like this is
that
a great
speaks
song.
to a bigger conversation about like people in media. Like I'm in the media space. I've been doing it for 5 years now, but I'm a critic of the media space because of those very reasons. Like, no one's opinion has power over another, in my opinion, right? But again, like people don't take the time to say, I may have been wrong about that, and that's important.
And and that's big for me too. And that's one of the things I think that. Unfortunately, the way the media landscape is, everybody's trying to be first with their perspective.
For sure.
Because they're like, oh, I have to seize this moment. So like, I'll even see people review album. I'm like, bro, the album came out 12 hours ago.
Literally, bro.
You have not even had a chance to sit with the album. You ain't got the chance to play it in the car, play it at home a little bit, and really even sit with it. You're just you just played it one time real quick, skim through it. It's almost that Jay-Z line. Do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it? Like,
exactly.
Like Jay-Z hit the nail on the head with that. It's like,
for sure,
you can't rush to critique music. Like sometimes you have to actually sit. Now there's gonna be some stuff that you're just not gonna like sonically,
right?
Based on whatever you're there's nothing that Sexy Red is gonna put out that's gonna make me
nothing.
The get is sexy is I. The get is sexy joint is I. But it's just I just don't like her style of rap. So there's nothing really that she's gonna be able to put out that's gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to hear it.
It's not even like for me. It's sonically with her,
and it's the aesthetic, and it's the whole.
It's
thing.
the
aesthetic. It's the whole thing. I'm out.
It's the whole movement. Like yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm just cool in general on that. So like, there's certain stuff that's just not gonna be for me, no matter what. But for like quality albums from artists who are like, are putting some blood, sweat, and tears into their music, it's like you have to sit with it.
You gotta sit with it.
Yeah. Any albums you looking forward to before we close out?
Any albums I'm looking forward to? Oh.
Who needs to drop?
Who needs to drop is Kendrick, bro. I want a Kendrick album. That's at the top of my list. I feel like he got so much momentum behind him. He got the music video out for Not Like Us. Like I just feel like this is bro's moment.
This is his time.
This is his moment.
And he's already earned, he should. And for hip-hop fans, I know, like I said, music is subjective, but I don't know how he's not in anybody's top 5 at this point.
I don't get it.
I don't know if he's not.
Feel me?
Maybe you just don't like the way he sounds. You don't like his voice. There's some artists who I just don't like their voice. So
sure.
There could be that. It could be that. But Kendrick has like stamped himself so much that I think that if he releases the album now, this might be like his biggest album.
It might be his biggest album because like he's taken more breaks in between projects before. I think the break between Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was like 5-year period.
That's long.
But now, like, it's been 2 years since, and he just got off tour officially. It's one of the biggest tours in rap history. That's what people don't know. It generated some of the most. So now with that, given that you did the whole Drake little back and forth, bro, this might be the most highly anticipated. I will say that.
And I've never heard Kendrick is one of the few. He might be the only rapper who I can say has never released a bad project, to me. I don't.
He hasn't.
There's no project of Kendrick Lamar's that I can say is a bad project.
Of course, we favor some over there.
But 100%. And that also depends on where I'm at. Like,
exactly.
One year, Good Kid, Mad City might be my favorite Kendrick album. The next year, Damn might be my favorite. Like, that I'll go up and down with which is my favorite Kendrick album. But, like, there's none where I'm like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
Like, and there's not too many people I can say that about other than, like, Biggie, because he only had 2.
For sure.
They're both fire. Or like Lauryn Hill, because she had
one.
One, and then she had the Unplugged one, which is also still fire. So like, okay, but like for artists who've made a lot of albums,
they always gonna have 1 or 2 hiccups. It's just part of the process. Like we see the same thing with Ye, we see the same thing with Hov. Like I don't listen. I actually think Kingdom Come actually gets a really worse rap than it really is.
Kingdom Come is not a
decent album.
Kingdom Come is not a bad album.
But for Jay-Z standard though, I think that's
the only Jay-Z album he has that I legitimately don't really like is Holy Grail.
Really? Magna Carta Holy Grail, you ain't rocking with it?
Nah. It's like 2 songs in there I rock with. Like F For Me, You Know I Got It, I like.
Yeah.
He got a couple songs in there I like, but as a whole, I don't like the album.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the best rapping. He was kind of, it seemed like, rapping in a different pocket that I really wasn't feeling. The production's like, to me too. Like
it feels like he scaled down the lyrics in favor of the production because the production on that album
big.
was crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds like an expensive album.
It
bro.
does.
Like it seems.
And remember,
luxury.
that was the phone, and that was the album they just threw in our phones. Remember
Yeah,
that?
it was. Yeah. Like he
Yeah.
changed the game, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like everybody saw that commercial leading up to Magna Carta, Holy Grail.
And for people who don't know,
Yeah.
Jay-Z's my favorite rapper, so I'm
he's mine.
probably listening to it more critically.
Yeah,
Like, but
yeah.
that's his only album that I'm like, I don't like it.
I value portions of Volume 2, Life and Times of Sean Carter Volume 2, I could do without too. Because like he transitioned from actually it's Volume 1, I think. Whichever
Which
one
one is
he was
Hard
with.
Knock? Hard
Knock Life is Volume 2.
Volume 2.
But whichever album, one of the two that he went with
Which one had Lucky Me on it? Is that Volume 1?
might be Volume 1.
I get them ones mixed
But
up.
whichever one he did, what's it called? The Made Men or whoever Puff Daddy at the time. Whichever his in-house bad boy like production team was, I was like, this is terrible. Like, don't ever do this. Whichever the joint that had, whichever album had Sunshine on it, I can do with hella portions without that one. But overall, like, I can't really say Jay-Z has an album that I hate other than maybe. Nah, I can't even say.
He don't have one
Blueprint
that
3.
I hate, but he has one
Yeah.
that I don't. Like.
I'll do
I
it
don't
out.
like.
I'll skip over.
Like I'm not going back to.
I'm not going back
Blueprint
to
3.
Blueprint 3.
I can't call Blueprint 3 trash. But I don't like it though. It's not like
I'm not going back to it. Yeah.
I'm not going back to it either. So yeah, that's what everybody has.
Yeah,
to
everybody does.
Kendrick is the only one that I can say doesn't, and maybe it's because of those 4 year breaks
Yeah.
in between,
Maybe.
where he's like mastering it and making sure it's a perfect album. He's not letting any like label pressure get to him to
sure.
release soon.
Exactly. And I'll say the one it seems like people were trying to like kind of critique more than others was Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I go back to that. I think
it's a good album.
I think it's one of his most revealing albums, and that I gotta respect off top. And plus music matches. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Man, look,
man.
good times, episode 1.
First episode. Bro.
I think this was a good episode, man. For one,
Yeah.
I think we hit one.
I think we got, bro, the natural, you know what I'm saying? Everything showed up on the audio and on the visuals, man. So
Yes, sir,
we gotta
man.
applaud ourselves for this, bro.
We did. We finally made it
My
happen.
dog.
My God.
My dog.
Rapping Reason Podcast, episode 1. We hope you return for episode 2. We'll be here for more music critiques and reviews.
All that.
All right. Peace out.